Hey folks, in this video I'm going to show you how to add a contact form pop-up in WordPress, which just means having a pop-up on the site which has a contact form embedded right there in the pop-up. I'm going to show you a variety of ways to trigger the pop-up. For example, you might want the pop-up to be triggered when the user spends X amount of time on the site. You might want to trigger it when the user is viewing a certain page or scrolling past a particular area on the page, or you just might want that you want to trigger the pop-up when user clicks on a specific link on the site. So I'm going to show you all these different functionality on how to create this very simply. Even if you're a beginner, you can follow along. And to achieve this, we're going to use a combination of two products on our WordPress website. So switch to my screen here. And the first product that I'll be using is WP Forms. And it's the world's most popular form builder for WordPress. And it has tons of options. But we're using the free version of WP Forms to create the contact form, which we'll be embedding in the pop-up. So that's the first plugin or the first product we'll be using. The second product we'll be using is called Opt-in Monster. And Opt-in Monster is a monster of a plugin, right? It's a completely powerhouse plugin when it comes to capturing leads on your site. So if you are interested in capturing, let's say, having a contact form, that means you're trying to collect leads. So Opt-in Monster is one of the best when it comes to capturing leads. And if I just give you a tip of the iceberg of the functionality of the plugin, you have lightbox pop-ups, floating bars, scroll boxes, gamified wheels, page level targeting, and tons of amazing stuff. And it's a premium plugin, but it's very affordable. You can go to the website. I'll place the link in the description of this video, on the screen, and also in the pinned comment, so you can go check out and make a decision for yourself after watching this video if Opt-in Monster is for you. And by the way, this functionality, when we'll actually create the stuff that the pop-up, you'll see some behind the scenes on how powerful the functionality or targeting level options are. So stay tuned for that part of the video. So now we know what plugins we're going to use. Let's install the plugins on our site. So I'll go to my website here. I'll go to the plugins section and I'll click add new plugin, which will bring us to the WordPress repository. And we'll search for WP Forms, the first plugin. And as I mentioned, WP Forms, we're using the free version, so we don't need to pay anything. We'll just click, this is the WP Forms. We'll click on it and install the plugin on our site. And it's done. Let's also activate it. And it should be done in a couple of seconds. So WP Forms is now active. Now let's install the plugin for Opt-in Monster. Opt-in Monster. And just to clarify, Opt-in Monster, the plugin is completely free, but what it does is it connects to Opt-in Monster service in the background. So you still need an Opt-in Monster account to actually set up and work or use the exact functionality that I'm going to show you. So you can actually install the plugin like this, but you still need to have an account on Opt-in Monster website to make sure the functionality works. So now this plugin is also installed and activated. So now we have the plugin setup, and sometimes you might need to refresh your page to see the plugins menu come up here. So you might see this pop up. Don't worry about this. You can go back to the dashboard by clicking this link here. We'll set up the campaign once we are done with the form first, because that's what we're going to do first. So now you see we have an Opt-in Monster menu and we have a WP Forms menu indicating that the plugins are now installed. So let's create a form now. So if I go to WP Forms here, I can see the add new functionality here. So I'll click add new. And this will give us the option of, hey, create a new form on our site. So we'll click this. I'll disable this because I'm going to show you how to create the form right now. So what the first thing we'll do is just name the form here. So we'll say customer info. Just name it something. You can name it anything you like. And just to clarify, you see some of these pre-built forms or templates are available to you right here. But if you upgrade to the pro version of WP Forms, which you can do by clicking this link here, you will have approximately 1,719 different forms pre-designed for you. So if you scroll down, you'll see there's tons of different functionality or tons of different forms already created for you. All you have to do is use it. So it's up to you. If you regularly create different kinds of forms, then this is something you might find useful. Right now, we'll stick to the simple contact form. So I'll click use template, and this will bring us to the contact form, I'd say, or the form maker or the form builder. And the form builder is pretty easy to use, right? You can see all these fields. You can drag and drop them right here in the form builder area. So if I use this, let's say multiple choice, I'll drag it and I'll just let go somewhere where I want it. And now that particular piece of block or field is now added to the form. I can also duplicate it by clicking this button, and I can also delete it if I don't want to. So I'll delete it. And if I want to customize the look, feel, appearance, or say the functionality of a particular field, all I have to do is just click on it. So let's say, for example, I click on the name field. Here you can change the label. So I say full name. So you can change this here. And then you have the format, first name, last name. You can have first, middle, last name, simple. And then you can also make it required or not required. So let's say, for example, if I don't want the full name to be required for some reason, I can just click on this and this will be disabled from the site. So this is the kind of functionality you can customize. So anytime you click a field, you have relevant options appear here and you can customize most of the things. Once you're happy with the contact form, so for custom information, we just need the full name, email, and maybe this. If you want to add the phone number and numbers, that's completely up to you. I'll click the save button here to save the form first. Now, before we proceed to do the next step, just want to clarify a couple of things. If you go into the settings here, you'll see notifications and confirmations. These are important to know if you want to customize this. Now, what's the difference between notifications and confirmations? Confirmations is what the end user sees once they submit a form. So for some reason, or I'd say not for some reason, but you might want to do something different for different, let's say, forms on your site. For example, if I go in confirmations here, the default confirmation is a message, which just shows the users, hey, thanks for contacting us. We will be in touch with you shortly. But you have different types of confirmations too. So if you go here on the drop down, you can actually show page or go to a URL. So you can redirect users to a different page as well. This is very useful if you are spending money on media. So if you want to track the effectiveness of your campaigns, then you want to add a pixel to a specific, let's say, thank you page, and then redirect users to those pages. And then you can be able to track what's the conversion rate like. So that's the functionality that you can customize. I'm going to keep this simple for now, keep it to message. But what I'll do is I'll just say, thanks for submitting your information. Your registration will be confirmed shortly. So I've just customized the message that users will see after they submit the form. This is useful, right? So this is for the users, but what is notifications? So notifications is for the site administrators. What happens? How do you get notified when somebody actually fills out a form? So the default notification is an email that goes out to the admin, and you can see all these, confirmation or say all the details that you can customize here. So you can see it's the admin email, what's the subject line like, where it's coming from, who is sending the email, and all the email fields and what the data is. So you can customize all of this, right? So if you have correctly configured emails to be going out from your site, you should be receiving these confirmation emails whenever somebody submits it. So you can add more notifications in the pro version. You can have more than one notification. You can enable and disable. If you don't want any notifications coming up to you, you can disable this as well. That's completely up to you, right? So once you've done this, once you have understood the notifications and confirmations and have customized the form, just click the save button once again to make sure everything is saved. Now, what we'll do is we'll go to the embed option here because we want to embed this somewhere, which is a pop-up, but not a page. So if I click embed, it gives me an option to either select the existing page or create a new page, but we don't want to add it to a page now. We want to add it to a pop-up. So what we'll do is we'll just use a shortcode here. So there's a link here, which if you click, it'll say, hey, this is a shortcode. So I'll copy this shortcode, and just to keep it safe, I'll just open Notepad and I'll just paste it here, right? So this is the shortcode. So once this is done, this is shortcode is copied. We are done with WP Forms for now. We'll click the cross icon to exit. This will bring us back to WP Forms. And by the way, you can see the shortcode here as well. You can copy this, but the shortcode we copied also has this titles equals false. It doesn't display the title of the form there. So it's much more useful to use this one rather than use that one. All right. So now that we have created the form, it's time to create the pop-up. So we'll go into opt-in monster here. And I'll just go to the dashboard because since I've just installed the plugin, it's not connected to the service in the backend. So I'll still see this warning, you haven't finished setting up your site. So what I'll do is I'll click this button, connect your site, and this will just start the process. Now, if you have a new account or you haven't created an account, you can click the claim your free account. And since I already have an account, I'll just click this connect your existing account. By the way, I'm already logged into the site, so it'll be easier for me, or otherwise I might have to just enter my credentials. So I click this connect your existing account. It'll actually open up a pop-up like this. And I'll say, hey, you're connecting to Yuvraj Wadhwani, which is my name. So it's connect to WordPress, just a confirmation. And once I've done, this will be connected to my site. Now, by the way, in the backend, what's happening is WP Forms, or I say opt-in monster, is doing a lot of things in the backend, adding the relevant, I'd say, pieces of code to your site so that all the tracking and all the campaigns, all the testing data, whatever is required to make sure the functionality works is being added to your site automatically. So this is how it keeps it simple by using this functionality. All right. So once this is done, we have connected our site successfully. Now it's time to create a new campaign. And if you go to the campaign section in the left-hand menu, you can see here, I'm inside opt-in monster. I'll just go to campaigns. And here we'll click the green button to create our first campaign. So these are all the templates, or I say campaign types we have access to. We have pop-ups, floating bars, full screen pop-ups, inline pop-ups or inline say campaigns, slide-ins, and gamified. So since we are working with pop-ups, so this is what we are trying to understand, how to embed the contact form in a pop-up. We'll stick with pop-up. And if you keep scrolling, you'll see there's so many different kinds of pop-ups already created for us. So it's easy for us to just get started with a good looking pop-up already, just customize few of those things. Just to keep it simple, I'll just stick with this one. Let's say we are getting users to register for a webinar, right? So I'll click this template here, and this will be, or we'll name the campaign first. So I'll name it webinar registration, and let's start building. Oops, let me just spell check that. All right, let's start building. So now, by the way, you won't notice this, but once we create the campaign, it actually redirects us to Opt-in Monster website. So this is happening on the Opt-in Monster website, and it's completely seamless. You won't even notice, and we'll create the entire campaign here. So this is the campaign builder, or I say the visual campaign builder, where you customize the look and feel of the specific pop-up, because we've chosen a pop-up campaign here. And the process of customizing this is very simple. Just click on it. On the left hand side, you usually see the functionality. So if you click the icon, you can change the icon, change the alignment, change the width, what's the alt text like, and link, and all this functionality. And you can go in advanced to change shadows and borders and all that. But let's keep it simple and just add the contact form here. So since we are getting users to register for a webinar, you see this is the button, reserve your seat. The contact form will already have a submit button there. And we don't want double buttons here. So what I'll do is hover over this and delete this. And I'll just delete. So now we have just a timer, learn from the pros. Again, we can customize any of this text completely, but let's keep it simple. And I'll just add the contact form here. So I'll go here on the home, and inside the standard, I'd say fields here, standard widgets here, you'll see WP forms here as well. So just click and drag it here. And as soon as you see the drop zone appear, just let go, and WP forms, the block will show up here. And then on the left hand side, you'll see that there's a form selection menu. So if you click the drop down, you'll see the form we just created, but we will add the shortcode manually because it includes the note title. So I'll click this. And once again, if I show you the notepad, this is the form, complete shortcode we copied. I'll just copy it once again. I'll paste the shortcode here. Now you won't see the live preview here, but you will see that the WP forms ID and the title, the shortcode is actually added here. So this part of the equation is now done. Again, you can customize the visual elements however you like, but the functionality part is done. Once this is done, we can head over on the top side, and you have see multiple tabs here. So we'll go to the display rules option. Now the display rules option is very important to understand, because this is where you'll customize when the pop-up appears. And if I have to go a little technical, you can customize tons of it. So the default display rule is something you can see here. And what it does is, what it's saying is that on any page on the website, if a user spends 5 seconds or more, then show the pop-up. So right now, the pop-up is supposed to appear anytime or on any page when a user spends more than 5 seconds. Now, if I show you this, you can have current path completely customized to your heart's content. So what kind of URL path do you want this pop-up to appear? Only on the home page, or not exactly, or anything else except the home page, exactly matching this particular URL? Or if you go does not match exactly, so include list, exclude list. If it contains, so if it's let's say a category page, then you can have a category page. Does not contain, start with, does not start with. So essentially, if you have a page on your website, you can essentially target that page, and only that page will have the pop-up appear after 5 seconds. Then if you go here, then you can change the conditions on when the pop-up appears as well. So you see, you have page level targeting, which I just showed you. You have exit intent. So when somebody's trying to exit the page, the pop-up appears. If it's a new visitor, then the pop-up appears. Returning visitors, device targeting. And you can go to all these areas. So if I go to who, you'll see physical location, referral targeting. So people from, let's say, Facebook, or people from a specific social media, get it. Device targeting, cookie targeting, local source targeting, tons of options. When triggers, time on page, so many different options. So if you imagine the possibilities, every minute scenario you can imagine on your site, that, hey, only on this particular page, if a returning visitor comes from Facebook, then show them this particular pop-up and then register them for the website. All of this is possible with Opt-in Monster. And this is what I'm talking about. This is literally a superpower when it comes to targeting. But just to keep it simple, what I'm going to do is I'll just use a click as a trigger for a pop-up. So I'll add a button on my site, and whenever somebody clicks that button, the pop-up form will appear. So instead of time on page, I'll click the personalization, or I'll just search for click. So once I search for click, you'll see monster link on click event is something we can actually use. So once I click on this, you'll see visitor clicks a link, then the pop-up will trigger, and the current URL path can be any page on the site. So what I can do is, on any page on my site, if a user clicks this link, then the pop-up will appear. That's what we are saying with this functionality. And which is the link that they'll click? We'll just copy this monster link code and paste it again in Notepad. So I'll copy this, I'll go here, and I'll just paste it in a new line just to keep it simple. And don't worry, you don't have to copy all this, I'll just explain everything. So make sure to copy this monster link code so that we can just add it somewhere on the site once we want to use this as a trigger. So now we have done the targeting part, and then we can go into the integrations part. I'm just going to show you the integrations, and integrations mean that, hey, you want to have this particular data go to a specific CRM, have this particular connect to an email service of your choice. All these confirmations or lead verification service, email validator, all these services, everything can be done here. So it's a very powerful plugin, and this is not the topic of the video, so I'm going to skip the integrations part and the analytics part, which is where we'll see data once we actually connect Google Analytics and see how users are performing. We'll just go to the publish section. And what we'll do is, now since our website is already connected, all we have to do is click from the publish status to draft, or change it from draft to publish. You'll see this also changing here to the green tick, and save. All right, so just to double check everything that will be done in the design part, we changed the design, we added WP Forms block here, which added the shortcode. In the display rules, we changed the display rules to whenever someone uses clicks a particular link, we copied the link here, and that happens on any page on our site. And inside the publish section, we just published and saved our campaign. Once all of this is done, when everything is set up, just go and click this cross icon here. This will bring you back to the website, and now our campaign should be live. Sometimes what happens is, you might go into Opt-in Monster and go into campaigns. You will see that the campaign status is not refreshed quickly. So what you can do is just double checking here, status pending. I'll click on it and I'll publish it here, and the campaign will be published. So just to make sure that the campaign is live. So now what I'll do is, now actually I'll go to my website, or I'm already on my website. I'll create that a new post on the site and add that functionality. I'll add the button and add that particular link that I created with Opt-in Monster to add the pop-up there. So I'll go to the post section and I'll just add a new post. I'll just open up a new tab, and I'll just say webinar registration, just to keep it simple. And I'll just add a new button to the site by using the shortcut and add a button block to the site. All right, so now I'll just say click to register for the webinar. I can say anything here I like, and I'll click on it, and now you'll see there's a link field in the button, which is where we'll paste the link. By the way, if you go to Notepad here, you don't actually need this entire link. You just need this portion of the link. So if I just copy this separately and I paste it here, this is the thing that you have to add inside the button as a link. So if I go here, I'll go to the link option and I'll paste it once again, and I'll link. Just once again confirming, you don't need the entire link, just what is inside the href area. So if I just hover over it, just inside whatever is inside the double quotes, that's all you need to add to the site. All right, so once this is done, we can double check. We can click the button, you see the link appear here. Let's publish the post here, and since the post is published, we'll open it up in a new tab just to test the campaign out. So now imagine this being on your site and you added this functionality. Now just to clarify, you can add this button to your, let's say the header of your site, a footer of the site, a sidebar, any particular post link, and this when the link is clicked, the pop-up will appear. So let's test it out. I'll click the link here, and in a couple of seconds, depends on the time, and now you see the pop-up appear on the screen. So that's how to do it, right? It's very simple. And again, just to clarify, you can create, or you have tons of functionality or choice when it comes to how this is triggered. We just showed the button click as a demonstration, but you can have this scrolling past an event. You can do this based on a time that user spends on the page, and it's completely up to you how you decide to do it. So this functionality completely exists. So that's how you do it. That's how you embed a contact form in a pop-up, and also a variety of ways how you can trigger it on your WordPress website. Hope everything is clear to you now. If you still have any questions, the comment box is open. And if you have followed everything and you'll say, hey, this was a great video, then just hit that like button and smash it so that I understand that this was a great video for you guys. And if you want to continue your WordPress education, then just subscribe to the channel because it helps out us and also helps out you because we can notify you of new channel or no videos coming out to the channel. You're watching Yuvraj from Double Beginner, and I hope to catch you in the next video very, very soon. Take care.